In 2025, the question of China versus Russia, who has the stronger attack helicopters, sounds simple. But once you dive in, it's a fascinating look into two totally different military philosophies. Russia brings old-school muscle, years of battlefield experience, and a helicopter culture built since the Cold War. China brings fast modernization, clean digital architecture, and a future-focused approach that blends helicopters with drones, AI, and network warfare. This isn't just comparing machines, it's comparing mindsets. Let's start with the raw numbers, because they set the stage. Russia absolutely dwarfs China in size. Moscow operates around 559 dedicated attack helicopters, part of a huge rotary-wing fleet of about 1,547 helicopters in total. This giant fleet didn't happen by accident. Russia has spent decades building a doctrine around helicopters for everything: assault, recon, escort, anti-tank missions, you name it. The core of that modern fleet is two famous beasts, the Ka-52 Alligator and the Mi-28 Night Hunter. These aren't just helicopters, they're cultural symbols of Russian air power. China, by contrast, is still climbing. Its force has around 281 attack helicopters, mainly centered on one modern workhorse, the Z-10 Thunderbolt. It has already fielded over 200 Z-10s, and it's improving them at lightning speed. China's strategy is clear: build fewer helicopters than Russia, but keep improving them with new materials, better engines, and cutting-edge avionics until they match world standards. Where Russia grew out of history, China is building from scratch, but fast. Now, let's talk tech, because this is where things get really interesting. Russia's Mi-28NM is basically a flying tank. The cockpit sits inside a heavy armored shell, a bathtub of armor, as many call it. It's designed to survive hits from machine guns and even 20mm explosive rounds. When Russia deployed it in Syria, Mi-28 crews often flew extremely low, skimming the ground, using their armor and advanced countermeasures to dodge Manpad's missiles. That's real combat experience shaping real improvements. The Mi-28NM carries deadly Ataka missiles that can punch through 800mm of armor, even if reactive armor is layered on top. And with its mast-mounted radar dome and the President S laser jamming system that blinds incoming heat-seeking missiles, the Mi-28NM is the most survivable helicopter Russia has ever built. Beside it stands Russia's second monster, the Ka-52M Alligator. It's instantly recognizable because it has two huge rotors stacked on top of each other, spinning in opposite directions. This coaxial design gives the Ka-52 wild maneuverability. It can fly sideways, spin faster, and handle wind better than almost any other attack helicopter in the world. And unlike almost every helicopter ever made, it has ejection seats. That alone tells you Russia's idea of survivability is different. The Ka-52M now fires Loomer missiles, which are fire and forget and harder to jam. And while earlier versions were criticized for taking losses from portable missiles, the updated variants with new tactics and infrared countermeasures have shown much higher survivability in recent conflicts. Now, how does China's Z-10ME stand against these bruisers? Surprisingly well, but in a very different way. For years, China's biggest weakness was simple: the Z-10 didn't have enough power. Early versions used underperforming engines that limited the helicopter's weight, altitude, and weapons load. In high-altitude places like Tibet, this was a huge issue. But the newer WZ-9C and WZ-16 engines changed the game, pushing output to around 1,600 shaft horsepower, finally giving the Z-10 the muscle it needed. The Z-10ME is lighter, more agile, and built with modern composites. Where Russia embraces armor and brute force, China leans toward smart design and stealth-like features. The Z-10ME has upward-angled exhausts that diffuse heat, making it much harder for heat-seeking missiles to lock onto. It uses ceramic and graphene armor plates, lighter but still protective. Its defensive suite includes radar warning receivers and its own DIRCM system, similar in concept to Russia's, but wrapped into a more digital package. And its weapons? China has developed its own advanced anti-tank missiles, like the AKD-10 and the newer AKD-21, which use millimeter-wave radar guidance. Basically, the same kind of tech found in modern Western missiles. The Z-10 also carries the TY-90 missile, specialized for shooting down other helicopters, a rare and interesting choice. But China's biggest strength isn't the helicopter itself, it's how the helicopter fits into a networked battlefield. China is investing heavily in drone helicopter teamwork. The Z-10 is already being tested alongside UAVs like the stealthy GJ-11 and upgraded Z-20T helicopters. In China's future war concept, the Z-10 acts as a smart spearhead, guided by drones, fed with live data, possibly striking long before the enemy knows it's there. Russia still builds around the idea of armored helicopters bulldozing through danger, but China imagines a future where helicopters, drones, and AI all move as one giant digital organism. So, who wins the comparison? Honestly, it depends on what you value. Russia currently has the stronger attack helicopter force overall, more aircraft, heavier armor, battle-proven designs, and deep experience in real war. The Mi-28NM is unmatched in survivability, and the Ka-52M is unmatched in maneuverability. Russia's fleet is built to take punishment and keep fighting. But China is catching up fast. The Z-10ME is no longer underpowered, and it already surpasses Russian helicopters in some avionics and network capabilities. China isn't trying to copy Russia's philosophy. It's building something more modern, lighter, and more digitally integrated. In a future where drones and AI guide every mission, China's approach might actually be the more forward-looking one. Right now, Russia still holds the edge in brute strength, numbers, and real combat toughness. But China's modernization speed, its advanced sensors, and its network-centric doctrine suggest that the next generation of Chinese attack helicopters could flip the balance. In today's world, Russia leads. In tomorrow's world, China may very well take the crown.